Hey there. Welcome to a new Instagram series that's launching right now called Living a Bold Life. It's so good to be with you this evening. I'm going to be inviting our guest in just a moment. For anyone who's not sure what we're doing here, this is a guest interview series. And the intention is to inspire you, to empower you, and to get you to see that there's way more going on than just the highlight reel. For those of you who see the people that you see living bold lives, maintaining bold lives, it's not just luck, it's not just chance. Hey, Carrie, a lot goes into it. And so without further ado, I'm going to invite in tonight's guest, Amanda Moore, and we'll give her a big welcome when she gets in. I've actually never done an Instagram Live with anyone before, so I'm like, please let me see the little smiley faces they said I would see, and I see them. All right, so I'm inviting in our intern of mystery. Work as you should, Instagram Live. Yay! I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm not very good at technology, so I was like, please let it be exactly how they say it is. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for having me on your very first episode.
Yeah, so I'm like, I feel like my first nervous jitters that I had when I did my first video, because I've never done Instagram with someone. So everyone, Amanda is the first guest in this weekly series. And the reason, I mean, a lot of you watching know Amanda, so you're probably like, yeah, we know why she's your guest. But Amanda is one of my best friends, and we've almost been best friends for almost 20 years now. And every second that I'm with Amanda is probably living a bold life. We push our boundaries, we have fun, we create, we get into trouble. It's just a lot of boldness. And so for anyone who hasn't had a chance to read the little blurb, Amanda Moore is a warrior for the light, leading others into discovery of their own light. From her earliest memories, she knew she had a purpose beyond herself and continuously works toward evolving and growing to meet that purpose. You know this woman, this is all true. Through both education and action, she seeks pathways to ground herself in support of others, finding flow, shooting arrows, which I have done with her, while exploring empathic connections with those around her. Amanda is an emerging spirit. You can connect with Amanda via Instagram at International Panda of Mystery. I mean, bold right there, right? Or her email at strongearthelements@gmail.com. And y'all don't worry, this is going to be saved in the IGTV. You can wrangle all this up, but we are here to get some snippets from Amanda's bold life. Amanda, are you ready to share with us some snippets?
Oh, I sure am.
I'm actually really excited about this, you guys, because anyone on this video who knows Amanda knows that she is like one bold move after one bold move after one bold move. So I was wondering, like, what is she going to say when I ask her this stuff? So this might be a challenging question, Panda, but are you able to pinpoint what you feel the boldest move you've ever made is, or one of the boldest moves in? And I know in your life, that's probably not the easiest to pick.
The boldest. Yeah. How about if we go with the most recent big one?
And what is that? Tell all of our beautiful listeners your most recent bold moves in a series of many.
Yeah, so after about 20 years of living and working on the East Coast, building a career, feeling very focused on my goals and set and continuing to, I guess, climb the ladder within my industry, I, about 6 months ago, I quit my job, my very nice job that I liked very much. Quit my job, sold my house, and arrived in Cleveland, back in the Midwest, where of course we're from. And I did this. I definitely, this is probably like, top of the list as far as bold things in my life. But it took a lot to get there, a lot of support from a lot of people that probably didn't even realize they were supporting me towards making this bold move. But it was. I knew I didn't even exactly know what I was moving towards, but I kind of just kept going with what felt right. And I I found myself in Cleveland in an apartment, and not really sure where I was going to work, what I was going to do. But hey, I knew that I was taking the right steps, moving in the right direction, and yeah, interestingly enough, it's all falling into place now.
Kind of reminds me of when you left Kalamazoo for DC all those years ago. It's a very similar story.
So
But y'all, like, I first of all, I want to acknowledge Amanda for her courage because to up and quit your job, to move across the country, it's never easy. But what Amanda didn't actually say is she did this not long after the pandemic hit, and it was hitting hard up in the Boston area. And I actually remember talking to Amanda, and she was like, I have a feeling, and someone else said something to me. I have to get the heck out of here in the next few days. And this woman started packing up her house weeks early and got out of there. And the moving company stopped moving people the day after you left.
yes, and this is so actually I need to say just one of my loves, Adam. I think
Yeah.
you're here with us during this live, and thank you for that. Your support is always it always means so much to me. But that was Adam. I was
Yeah.
in a point of I mean, this is why I was making the move. I was so exhausted and I was having trouble connecting with my intuition. And when I couldn't connect, Adam found that for me and said, Amanda, go now. And I did.
Yeah. And a couple of things, lovely, lovely listeners, like the things that I'm really pulling from this are one, this didn't happen by herself. She had support. Two, the support she had is trusted friends that she trusts to deliver messages to, because this one delivers messages to me all the time. And three, what I really was present to is how you shared you didn't know, but you were following the feeling and it was aligned. That's one of the scariest things for a lot of us when we make our first bold move is we don't have a lot of the concreteness that we are programmed to want and to need in our culture. Huge, huge, huge kudos to you, sister.
Oh, thanks, dear.
Yeah. So kind of following that thread, and you might have already kind of answered this in the first question. So if there's more to share, great. And if not, we'll just kind of keep grooving. But when push came to shove, was there anything that really got you to make that move? And the reason why I ask is, listeners, when we're making bold moves and we're new at it, it's really comfort zone stuff, right? Like hot stove, hot stove. For most of us, there tends to be some kind of catalyst. Something really is the invitation to get us to do it because, why are we going to leave our comfort zone? There's got to be something. So for you, other than anything you already mentioned, was there anything else that really was the catalyst to get you to do this?
Yeah, so I think the additional thing I want to share there is that it was a lot of intuition that got me really to make those final steps to sell the house that I just finished renovating for 2 years, to
Oh,
do all these crazy things that people were like, wow, why are you doing this? And I also I knew I needed a change because I was exhausted. The thing that really pushed me was that I was exhausted. I was sick. I was really struggling in my day to day, and I was so out of balance. I was, I needed to move towards something that was more authentic.
I love that. And what I'm taking away, and I'm just kind of sharing with y'all like what my takeaways are if anyone's kind of looking for something to catch on to, but because I look for coach, but like as coach, I'm just like over here like, wow. Because the tricky thing is we get exhausted. We don't always have connection to our intuition. We do sometimes feel like we're struggling. And we don't always know how to trace it back to what's the root. What's the root? So, I'm pointing this out, y'all, because these are things to pay attention to. We get such powerful messages, but decoding them is a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing. And that's what I'm getting. What it took for Amanda to do this was tuning into herself. And I'm guessing there was some inquiry going on for you to notice those things and decide what it traced back to. You probably had to do some reflection and inquiring.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, it happened within my head, but it also happened amongst, many practitioners who I work with. Hey, Carrie. um, and, I feel like I have a whole team who supports me and also friends and you never know when that piece of information might come to you. And but when it does, I find if I'm willing to receive it, then it helps guide me and yeah. But deciphering it is never easy. It's all about trusting. All about trusting.
And I think all of us listening can appreciate the practice of trusting that it takes. But I think another thing that I really want to point out for anyone watching this video now or on playback is that you did this and not everyone got it. Y'all, one thing that is so important when you're living a bold life, you're going to get people all the time who are like, why are you doing that? You got it good. Why are you doing that? Things are working. Like people are not always gonna support that. And so, Amanda, did you find when you were in the beginning stages of this, did you have to be mindful of who you shared this with to protect it a little bit before you were really rooted in it? Did that happen for you at all?
So let me just share that in doing this live video with you today, I'm sharing a lot of things for the first time.
Wow. Oh, wow. Snaps for courage, sister. Courage. Snaps are old, y'all. I just found out about snaps like 2 years ago. I've been clapping for all these years. Yeah. Awesome. So y'all
Yeah.
send our international panda of mystery some love, because we know sometimes when we share for the first time that vulnerability hangover is a real thing, like Brene Brown said. Yeah, thank you for sharing this with us.
It is my pleasure.
It's my firm belief that 2020 is a great big invitation to be bolder. So this is meaningful for you to be trusting us and being courageous and letting us in.
Yes, thank you.
So another question I've got for you is, because what I've found to be true, not for everyone, is for a lot of us, when we make the first big, bold move, it's never as hard. It's right. It's that first out of the comfort zone thing. And so a lot of us decide that it's going to become a way of life. And so what I find to be true for me and for many of my clients is many of us have a formula. And it might change as the seasons change, as the years change, as the days change. So it can be loosey, but do you find that for living a bold life continuously, this is a practice, it's a way of life, is there a formula that keeps you able to just keep stepping up, to keep stepping out, to keep rocking your comfort zone, pushing the envelope, a formula that supports you?
Yeah, so it's definitely evolved over time. I think maybe now is the point in my life when I actually maybe have a formula as opposed to I feel this is right, so I'm going to do it. But yeah, I mean, I have made a lot of bold, bold moves in my life, but most of my life I was guided by intuition, but I didn't realize it. I've always had very strong intuition, a strong knowing, very sensitive, and as I've been able to more hone those messages and be able to access them with more purpose, which requires a lot of self-care. Daily meditation practice is absolutely critical. So now my formula is to listen to myself, to understand, what those messages are. I think I actually am getting better at deciphering them as well. And then the key to the formula is once I have a message or have an understanding or a next step, then I accept support, whether it's reaching out for support or whether it's sometimes the support just arrives. Um, yeah, so that the formula is that there's strength in numbers.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That means a lot to me because that's an important one for many of us. And whenever someone says that, it just makes me smile big because I used to be independently fierce to a fault where I actually wasn't supported. So a lot of boldness didn't happen. So what I'm really hearing from you is you're not doing it alone. You are receiving support. What I love about that is you've been really committed to a life of practice with self-care, with honing in your intuition. And so what I'm hearing now is sometimes the support just shows up for you, whether you have sought it out or not.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful for that. It's really amazing.
And another thing that you said that I think is really important because words are a huge part of the work that I do. And a lot of us have wacky relationships to some of them. You said sensitive. And I know a lot of people will make that mean something if they think they're sensitive. They will collapse sensitive with weak. They will collapse sensitive with whatever. And what I find to be true is most people who are sensitive do, if they really, really refine themselves, have access to a lot of intuition and magic.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. There was a long portion of my life where I thought being sensitive was weak, and so therefore I shoved it down. I covered it up. I decided that being sensitive was bad, and I was going to put my emotions over here in this box, and they're going to stay there. And what I didn't realize in doing that is that I was cutting off so much of what actually makes me powerful. Being able to be empathic, understand people's emotions around me, that it used to feel like too much, but I learned skills, learned how to manage that. And yeah, over time, sensitive is a true power.
I love that, y'all. So if you're sensitive, harness that, foster that. It's a gift. It's a gift. And I think another thing that you said that I just want to highlight again, it's really important, is you said self-care. And I'm a huge stan that self-love, self-care, it's the foundation of all things. It affects our physiology. It affects our mental state, our emotional state. And so y'all, I know it can be tempting to take those emotions and put them in the emotion box and forget about them, but find loving people who will let you unpack that box, because they really are a beautiful navigational system if we learn how to use them that way. That's awesome. And for anyone listening, if you're like, I don't have a formula, that's okay. You can hear that Amanda didn't and that she's kind of creating one. Mine kind of changes all the time, y'all. And I say formula because a lot of times when I'm working with clients and they're really onto something good, we're always trying to figure out how can we start trying to recreate this, and for a lot of us, there are certain self-care things that we need. And there are certain support structures that we need. So thank you for normalizing that, because I think support is becoming more normal and natural, but it's still weird for some of us to receive.
Yeah, no, and thank you for the opportunity to normalize that. It's so important. And really, part of making this move off the East Coast back to the Midwest, trying to refigure things out here, was also a recalibration of myself, because being able to receive support and be sensitive, that's about me being my authentic self. And
Yes.
when I'm authentic, I feel good. I have energy. I'm happy, and I can truly be with and support the people around me.
It's like a magic elixir.
Yeah.
Um, so another thing that I'm curious about is, where do you think you'd be if you didn't make the bold move that we're talking about today of recently just up and quitting the job and moving across the country when you sensed it was right, where do you think you'd be if you didn't do that?
I'd be exhausted.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'd still be stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, and you know, like you can hear, like, and if anyone can't, you know, like exhausted and stuck kind of go together. Because when we're exhausted, it's really hard to get unstuck.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is that when I left the East Coast, I thought I was leaving my career. I didn't think that my career could continue here. For one thing, because I was exhausted and stuck, and
Yeah.
my job was very hard to do in that state of mind.
Yeah.
But now, you know, I have been doing my job here, you know, with a new company. You know, who knows where else that might go. But I'm re-energized to do this work that had become so exhausting to me. I love it again. And
Well,
I'm
I'm
so
not mistaken, Amanda. I think one other thing I would love people to hear about this is you were scared the job opportunity wasn't going to be the same. If I'm not mistaken, you created it in a way that's actually more authentic for you.
exactly. And now, and like, I started going into interviews as my authentic self. And whoa, they still liked me.
Yes. So y'all, I want like anyone who is watching this video at any point in time, if you can resonate with the stuckness, if you can resonate with the exhausted, you know, maybe just sit for a moment and get present to what is the impact for you if you're not willing to make the bold move. Reason why I ask you to contemplate that with yourself is for most of us, it's a little scary to be with. So we get busy and we avoid. But sometimes when you be with, oh man, that's what I'm gonna be left with. If it jolts your nervous system in the right way, sometimes it can kind of start getting in there and be the catalyst if you just be with the impact of staying where you're at if it's not working for you. And you know what, just take one step and remember, you know, what Amanda just said. You know, she was exhausted and she found a way to do it. Chances are, Amanda, would you say for any listeners listening, when you pinpointed that it was time to start making a bold move, when you started doing it, did the exhaustion start lifting so that it was easier to do this for you?
I think there was a turn.
Okay.
But and maybe the exhaustion slowly transformed into something new.
Okay. So you hear that, y'all? If you're feeling the exhaustion, my invitation would be hold space for when that will shift. Just don't get attached to when. Because if you're like in a week, in 2 weeks, you're going to be waiting because it doesn't work that way. So this is where we'd weave in the other message that Amanda said. It probably, my guess is, Amanda, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, I bet it took a lot of trust.
Yeah. And so while I might also be known for doing bold things, I've not often been known in my life for being incredibly trusting. But that's something that I've very purposefully worked on. And I would not have been able to do this without finding trust in myself, most importantly.
I love that. Stuff I resonate with so much. So in the spirit of keeping this in the time frame for all of our amazing people with full lives out there, y'all know I'm not going to use the word busy and get into that context. Full, we're living full lives. Amanda, and I know you are such a divinely wise human in spirit. If you were to choose maybe one piece of sage wisdom um, to share with everyone tonight, is there anything that really resonates with you in this moment that would be just words to impart on everyone who is on a bold journey with us, living that bold life?
So yeah, great final question. Showing up here as myself in this moment as a warrior for the light. I want to invite everyone that in those quiet moments, listen to yourself, because there is within each of us so much wisdom, and it's almost beyond comprehension, and there's so much power with that. Listen to yourself, and once you listen and you know, accept support. It'll be there for you.
Oh, I love that. So I'm hearing do whatever we need to do to get into a state where we can listen. Yeah. And I say that because for anyone listening, you might be like, how do I listen? Get still, find a way to get still. And I'm hearing it's listen to yourself. It sounds cliche, y'all, but you do have the answers. If you're not finding them right now, it's just locked in a part of your brain that you are not accessing. It's in there. Stillness helps. And I'm also hearing yet again, and again, I really want to drive this home, because anyone watching who knows me knows, like, I've done videos before where I literally charge around, like, singing songs about support. Like, I've done raps about getting support. Like I'm out of control when it comes to support. And so that's the final thing you said was get support. And I'm just going to say it again, get support, y'all. We go faster when we go alone, but we go further when we go together. It is so true. And I just have to say, I am so grateful that the night that I met you and didn't know you, I picked you up and put you in my car and drove you to your house to get your keys. So y'all, this is another one of those moments where, did people think I was crazy? Yes. But did I trust my divine wisdom that this woman needed to be in my life? Yes. So long story short, we have been in each other's lives and the best of friends for almost 20 years now. And that relationship started by a bold move. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Amanda, thank you for being here. For those of you that have been with us live, thank you for holding the space. We know many of you, we love many of you. If you want to come back to this, if you're wanting more inspiration, or if you just know someone in your life who needs to hear stuff like this, because we all do, I am going to be saving this video for forever under the IGTV tab. That's that little button in the middle on the profile. And you can share this for anyone who needs to hear it, come back to it. And I'll be having all of the info on how you can reach Amanda and all that good stuff. And Amanda, thank you for being my first guest on the first series.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. And I just want to say that y'all doing the bold thing, it might not be easy, but it's always worth it.
Yes, yes. And that reminds me to tell everyone, y'all, simple don't mean easy. Being bold and living a kick-ass life can be simple, but it's not easy until it gets easier.
Oh, I love you, lady.
I love you too. Thank you so much, everyone. All the snaps for the International Panda Mystery. And we'll see you all very soon. Have a beautiful rest of your night.